Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question comes to us from the True Stories collection, as in, it actually happened at an event that I was actually judging. Amy plays Goddric, Cloaked Reveler, then Garruk's Uprising. Does she draw a card? Okay, so to answer this one, we'll need a couple of pieces of information. First, we'll need to know this fact about triggered abilities. Immediately after anything happens in the game checks to see if what just happened matches the trigger condition of any triggered abilities. So immediately after Goddric entered the battlefield, did it have 4 or more power? In order to answer this question, we'll need to take a look at how continuous effects work. Goddric's ability that changes its power and toughness is a continuous effect from one of its own static abilities. As you can see, such effects apply simultaneously with the permanent entering the battlefield. Given that the celebration condition is fulfilled, there will not be any time when Goddric is on the battlefield, and it won't be a 4/4. And if you already had some other permanent enter the battlefield the turn Goddric comes into play, then there won't be any time when Goddric is on the battlefield and its celebration condition isn't fulfilled either. Taking these together, we can find that yes, Garruk's Uprising will indeed trigger for Amy to draw a card in this case. Using the same kind of reasoning, we can also see that Amy would get to draw a card if she had played the Goddric first and then the Garruk's Uprising. One interesting thing about this question is that in either case, if you had a smaller creature like a grizzly bears instead of the Goddric, you would not get to draw a card, even if you had an instant speed pump spell that would get it above 4 power. In the case where we already had the Garruk's Uprising in play, that's pretty obvious. Immediately after the bear enters, the game checks to see if any triggered abilities have triggered. Because the bear's power is not 4 or more at this time, the ability does not trigger and there's no chance for you to respond to it by increasing the power. In the case where the grizzly bears is already in play though, it might seem like you should be able to play the Garruk's Uprising, put the triggered ability on the stack, and then respond to that with a giant growth to buff the grizzly bear to a high enough power in order to get to draw a card. Unfortunately, that won't work. Longtime fans of the channel may have identified that the Garruk's Uprising enters the battlefield ability is a special kind of triggered ability that uses an intervening if clause. This type of triggered ability has special handling, and one of those special rules is that the if condition needs to be true at 2 times, when the ability goes to resolve and also when it triggers. If you'd like more information on identifying and working with intervening if clauses, I'll leave a link to a video where I go over that concept in more detail in the description. But for now, it suffices to know that you would need to respond to the Garruk's Uprising spell in order for this trick to work, because Grizzly Bears needs to have 4 or more power when the Garruk's Uprising enters the battlefield and also when the ETB ability resolves in order for this ability to draw you a card. This also means that there is a material difference between the 2 draw a card abilities on Garruk's Uprising in how they interact with shrink effects. If you play the Garruk's Uprising while you control a 4/4 and your opponent shrinks its power in response to the triggered ability, such that you no longer control any creatures with 4 or more power, then the intervening if clause will be false when that ability tries to resolve, meaning that you will not get to draw a card. On the other hand, if you play a 4/4 while you control Garruk's Uprising, but your opponent shrinks its power with that ability on the stack, you still do get to draw a card. That ability does not feature an intervening if, meaning that once it triggers, the game no longer cares about what the creature's power is. But that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling, but until then, I hope you have a great day.